We had the famous, the one and only Elisa Garn in today to visit us here at Eddy HR. I had the opportunity to interview her. We talked about people and processes and HR and all the different things a startup or small business can do to do it the right way and to do it from the beginning. Keep watching, listen, and learn. What a great day here at Eddy HR. We get the opportunity to meet with the famous, the one and only Elisa Garn. Thanks for coming in.
Of course.
Got a couple questions for you. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Shoot.
Okay. Number one question. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, it's a tough question.
Like born, raised, life.
Yeah. I'm from the Rocky Mountains, so equal amounts of time in Idaho, Wyoming. I've been in Utah all my adult life, so this is home.
Awesome.
Originally came here following a boy, that old story. Stayed here for a different boy, and then ended up with a different boy. Kids, so I've got 5 different stepkids all over the country. I've got one little guy at home with me, 7. And now just basically evangelize HR. That's what I get paid to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great story. My dad always said, if you're from Idaho or know anybody from Idaho, hire them, so they know how to work. What's your favorite book?
Oh man, that's a really hard one. So the one that changed my life is really cliche and cheesy, but it's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Carnegie. I read it when I was 19, and I was a wild introvert and had just the hardest time engaging with people, or even like doing something like this was impossible. I just couldn't. I would flush red and be super embarrassed. And I read that book as a work project. So our team was reading it, and it was so easy to apply. Like just instantly, it made sense to me that people want to feel valued. So if you value other people, in turn, they're going to value you, and it just creates a really good cycle of relationships. So that was the first one. And then 3 years ago, I read the book Quiet by Susan Cain. My husband is an introvert, and I am a wild extrovert. And reading that book gave me new perspective on how to value people that aren't like me. So I really, really enjoyed that, and it was a big eye-opener for me and one that I promote openly to others.
That's awesome. We love to read here. So
good. Try both of those.
A fellow reader.
Yes.
Fantastic. Next question. What are you grateful for?
Oh my gosh. I'd like to say everything, but I'm probably not really grateful for everything. The ones that I pay attention to, my son actually, so he was a twin. My husband and I went through in vitro, and his twin passed away at birth pretty unexpectedly. And so dealing with the loss and trauma of losing a child at the same time becoming a new mom and having a son for the first time, it definitely amplified my gratitude, for having him. And also just outside of that, the rest of my kids and family members in general. So family is definitely an area that I'm grateful for, but I'm also I feel very fortunate and blessed in my career as well. I didn't go to college. I didn't take a traditional route. I kind of fell into this profession because I had the belief of a really great mentor. But sometimes I wake up just thinking like, man, how am I, little old Elisa from Idaho, having all of these opportunities that I see other people, like I don't feel like I'm any more special than them. And it's a really cool chance to be able to, like when you recognize it, go in with purpose and be able to fulfill that on a daily basis.
That's cool. Yeah, I think all of us have someone that helped us out earlier in life, or many, many, many people. And so it's awesome that you acknowledge that someone did, a mentor, help you.
Yeah. And hopefully give it back, right? Like you got that advantage, now go do it for someone else.
Absolutely. Gratitude is a core value here at Eddy HR, and so we try to remember all the things we're grateful for, and it makes us happier when we do. Isn't that weird how it works like that?
No, I love that.
What makes a great employee?
Well,
that's such an easy question.
I mean, gosh, there's like a laundry list, right? Like, I will say this.
It's like, what makes a great husband? What makes a great wife?
Yeah, I mean, they have to meet certain criteria, right? Like, they have to be okay dressing up for Halloween, for sure.
Right.
I think, it's when I hire somebody, there's certain things that I look for. One of them, the highest on my list usually, is critical thinking skills. Like, I love to work with people that don't need all the information to move forward and make good decisions. I like to create more leaders And critical thinking skills, I think, is one of those that you have to have in order to grow into leadership. You can't constantly be relying on everybody else to feed you the information, or feel like you have all of the information before you can make a decision. So that's something that I personally look for. I don't know if that's necessarily what makes a great employee all around, but I do like to work with those people a lot more.
Problem solvers. Okay, anything else?
Well, you have you're just like the gimmies, right? You want somebody that's humble. You want somebody that has integrity and honest. You want somebody that has more of a growth mindset, that has, I'm a big believer in sales through service. So people that believe in giving back in order to get, all of those things I think make great humans, let alone great employees. But everybody's really unique and brings their own iceberg of reality to work every day. And empathy, I think, is a very cliched term, but underutilized talent that HR and companies should be investing in, helping other people understand how to build empathy. Because not being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and see the world and reality through their lens, in my opinion, is where most conflict comes from. So
that's awesome. Absolutely.
That was like 7 things.
It was great. It was really good. Yeah, we try to hire PLUs, people like us, and it's really, really hard to describe. You did a great job.
Feel free to use any of that on your website.
You're building a company. First 3 things a company should focus on.
Tactical, or this is just my company, this is what I'm going to focus on?
What's the first 3 things you think you should focus on?
People. I mean, you have to have the right people that believe in what you're trying to build, and hopefully the solution that it creates. I like how you put it as far as, hire people like us, but I also think, especially in HR, the culture fit has become a little bit of a swear word. We don't say that anymore because it alienates other groups of people, typically subconsciously. But I am a big believer in culture add. So as an example, I started just a little side hustle business with somebody who I think yins to my yang, because what that person adds to my business is something that I have blind spots in. I don't see that. It's not something I just readily recognize. And so the value and contribution of focusing on the right person and not just hiring somebody like me, but that somebody that can share the vision, that brings a different set of attributes, is very, very powerful. I think product is probably a secondary one. You have to have something that people give a crap about. Yep. What problem does it solve? And then, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of a cliched answer, but I think relationships. It ties into people too. But I think if you're starting a business, you need to understand how all of the dynamics of the relationships of the people that you hire, the product and services that you're offering, and your audience that you're trying to resonate with. What do those relationships look like, and how can you use that to maximize your growth plan? Of course, that's coming from an HR lens, right? You ask that of a CPA or a CFO, you're going to get different answers from all of them. But I do think that HR is very, very often undervalued and very reactive in the process of growth, instead of a very intentional, upfront, strategic, and intentional investment at the forefront of growing a business.
That's awesome. Yep. People and product.
People and product.
Okay. Last question. What are some things that small businesses can do to get HR right from the very beginning? A lot of small businesses, not most, don't touch HR until later on in business. I think that's something that needs to change.
Partially investing in the right tools and technology. I actually think Eddy does a great job of this, where you can scale very easily with your client. So
yes, we do.
And I'm not even being paid to say that.
Yes, we do.
So I think that is a really valuable thing, though, because if you have the right technologies in place that can scale with your business as you grow, it creates much less disruption when you're ready to scale. You go from a 2-person team to a 10-person to a 25 to a 50 to 100. Every time that you have to change a process or inject a new technology or hire a new person that's going to potentially change the strategy or culture, it has the opportunity to disrupt and possibly even destroy what you've worked so hard to create. So I think being very aware and intentional at the beginning of what problems do I want to solve today, and what's the capability of the problems this can solve for the future. So part of that, this example is technology. But I'm also a big believer, like, you don't have to hire a dedicated function within your business to get the value of having a strategic initiative of that from the beginning. So talk to people that are willing to moonlight, like reach out to existing strategic HR professionals that work for companies that you admire or that you're trying to mirror or aspire to be, and see if they'd be willing to spend 5 to 10 hours a month consulting and just getting some of that philosophy and understanding of what do I need to know to get me to that 50 mark or that 100 mark or that 500 mark. And then also being able to talk very specifically to exit strategy confidentially. As soon as you bring an HR person inside, you limit your ability to have those conversations because you have to protect part of the business from somebody that potentially, hopefully you trust them, but it's still a layer of exposure and risk that some companies, I think maybe that's why HR doesn't get involved in those bigger picture discussions.
That's awesome. We love Elisa.
Thank you.
We think you're awesome. We've been friends for a couple of years now.
Yeah, it seems like forever, but
what?
in the best of ways.
But we agree. We think when you start a business out, you got to hire the right people, which Eddy happens to help you do, which is weird. We think technology is really important because it helps you be more productive. Small, medium businesses have inefficiencies, and they have to de-risk certain things. The longer you're in business, you should be de-risking it for investors. So Eddy HR tackles all those things.
Time is money.
Time is money, yeah. Thank you, Elisa. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for watching the video. Elisa is awesome, and as she mentioned, HR tech is so important when you're starting a small business or a startup or a medium-sized business. And she spoke about how to do it the right way. To learn more, visit eddyhr.com.